started.
Born from shadow, sealed in truth, ancient blood, but faith rooted proof. History whispers, legends pretend. She chose the light where darkness ends. Eyes that see what most can't find. Gift of foresight, disciplined mind. Cross held steady, heart on guard. Truth cuts clean when nights get hard. She reads the silence, feels the room. Past and present start to bloom. Fear don't live where faith stands firm. Another veil bound to.
Hello, everybody. We're going to have a good show tonight because we're going to talk about what's on your mind. And there's a lot of things going on. One of the things that really bugs me is that every time I look at the news, there's another influencer that's killed off or dead or something like that. And just recently, an influencer by the name of Ulysses Marcelli, she was only 30 years old. She was all into the goth thing, and she had millions of followers watching her dress up goth like. And someone went and shot her and shot her boyfriend. Um, it's just so weird, all these influencers dying. Um, and then, there, of course, you got Jimothy the raccoon. I love the little guy. And I'm going to have everybody introduce themselves, talk a little bit about themselves, and then we'll talk about something that's going to be really interesting for Michael Waterman because um, I noticed that on Peace on her Facebook, she has something about Saturn retrograde, and I don't know that much about it. So, anyway, we'll start off with just give me your name, little bio, so people know who you are. Steve Ward, go ahead.
Steve Ward. I live in West by God, Virginia. I'm on where the home of the Mothman. I live on the same road that the Scarberries and the Mallets were chased by the Mothman on November 15th, 1966. I moved down a few years ago from Michigan and been following the Mothman, call it folklore or history, for quite a few years. I work at the Mothman Museum. I have a podcast called The High Strangeness Factor on the Paranormal UK Radio Network. And I'm getting ready, although it's several months away, for the Van Meter, well, actually for the Van Meter Visitor Festival, but the weekend before that, the Mothman Festival. And I'll be the MC, I'll be speaking on Sunday, and it's just a blast.
Steve, you're a real big shot. You know that?
A friend of mine keeps saying that I'm a real big shot. I even have a plaque for my desk that says I'm a big shot. But so it's got to be true, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Sue, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Sue McClure, and I'm actually operating in St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a meditation specialist. I help people with the traumas. I help people with the shadow work. I help people with body aches or pains or any other health problem, whatever ails them. And I've been helping soldiers to come back with PTSD. So I help in all different areas to help calm people's nerves or have them better peace of mind or bodily health.
Thank you very much, Stu. Michael Waterman.
Hi, everybody. I'm Michael K. Waterman. I'm also Setna Kamwaset. I am an ancient Egyptian high priest from the Pernateru Temple, which is a cyber temple at the moment. I have about 20,000 followers. For that, I'm also an author. I write monthly for Today's Witch. That's today'switch.net. I've also been a collaborator with Tim Schwartz on 2 books, The Persistence of Ghosts and also Weird Times. I'm frequent flyer with Hercules Invictus and also Paul Dale Roberts.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michael. And now we got Peace. Peace, tell everybody who you are And then, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about Saturn retrograde.
Oh dear.
My name is Peace. I am a psychic astrologer and spiritual life coach. I own the Footsteps to Peace. I live out here on the big island of Hawaii. I love it out here.
Oh yeah.
Wouldn't trade it for the world. But with that said, Saturn retrograde. Basically, Saturn is the lord of karma, but he's also the lord of time. And so if it's felt like we've all had a lot of pressure on us, the pressure is about ready to let it up. But being that Saturn is the lord of karma, positive or negative, there, I just say it just is, what you put out is what you get back. And what you don't put out is what you won't receive. So it's about putting in the hard work. Saturn rules laws, restriction, and responsibility. He's the master. So therefore, he really wants us to be able to last 30 years in something that we're doing. It's the bricks and mortar, but it's also about how we treat other people, So if you treated somebody very unfairly or unkind in the past, or you were treated unfairly and unkind, you can find out that this individual will now retrieve their karma, good, bad, or indifferent. So being it as it may, I don't fear Saturn, but if you read the story of Saturn, Saturn was also known as Kronos, and Kronos was known for eating his own babies. So if you want to dig a little bit deeper into Saturn, and when Saturn goes retrograde, he'll be retrograde for 138 days. So from the end of July into December, we can expect good, bad, or indifferent karma to meet us at our doorstep because it never misses addresses. It's like Santa.
Peace. We're also in Mercury retrograde.
We are. So
And I have 7 out of 9 planets in Virgo, so trust me, I know.
Yeah, I'm a Virgo, and I'm Virgo. I have 7 placements in Virgo, and I'm an Aries ascendant. And yes, Mercury will simultaneously be going direct on the 23rd as
Yes.
Saturn retrogrades on the 27th. So it's like whatever you didn't pick up from Mercury and the things that you should have taken care of, Saturn will make sure that you did.
My
Well,
Saturn is in Sagittarius. That's an interesting placement.
Yes, it is.
It sounds like Kronos had some serious issues.
Yes, yes, he did. People see Saturn as evil, and in some aspects, he really is. Saturn rules Democrats. Saturn rules government. He is ruler. He rules Capricorn. Therefore, Capricorn is our government and legal proceedings. And so, unfortunately, you can see how well the government works for the people. They don't. There's always secretive things that are going on in the background. That's Pluto. So Pluto's transit was through Capricorn from 2008 to 2024. So that's when all this stuff started coming up about all the shit we were dealing with, in real life, in real time, from 2020 all the way up until, today.
And if
Do
you
you
actually
think that
need
they're gonna-
confirmation, of that, sorry, Michael, but if
Okay.
you ever need confirmation about what Saturn is up to and all the symbolisms of Saturn, it's all over DC. You see where all the points where the Capitol is, where the White House is, and everything, and the obelisk are and all that. And if you look at all the shape that it makes, the placement of it, it makes the symbol. They also had the symbol of the owl. They also have, the symbolisms everywhere. The symbolisms under with the Pentagon, which is under the shape of Saturn, which is that hexagon shape. So it's symbolisms absolutely everywhere to show who they support.
Well, and Saturn also is the ruler of Capricorn, and in the Tarot, the original Rider-Waite Tarot, that's the devil card.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think that the government is going to see the karma we're talking about, the return karma?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It doesn't go unnoticed, but you also have to understand that they do know what I know, what all of us astrologers and spiritualists and things like that, what we know. It's just they get to play the game, but on the darker side, aka Saturn being the ruler of Capricorn, Capricorn being the devil. It's that bondage, right? But everybody ends up getting their just dues.
Yeah, if you see politically, they're escalating because they know what's coming. The astrology side, they are fully aware. They're not stupid. They know what they're doing.
Well,
And
Nancy
so the
Reagan even admitted that they used
yeah,
astrology.
yeah. And so like for example, the CBS symbol is also, the eye. So anything that has to do with the eye's on top of our dollar bill, in the back and stuff like that. All of these symbolisms are tied to the same negative or entity or force. Not that I'm just saying negative, but it is an entity and force. And we know that they're escalating like crazy, especially politically, if you see the news, because they know what's coming. And they're trying to push as much of it out as fast as they can, as hard as they can. Like, it's kind of like knowing that you're going to end up in jail. So you're going to try to give it one last hoo-ha just to see if you can possibly, cause as much damage as possible.
Absolutely. Well, and being that Saturn is also in Aries retrograding, Aries is ruled by the god of war, Mars. So, Saturn's been kind of keeping the brakes on, even though, yeah, we've been doing all these wars. But the opposite that is, Libra, there has to be some form of balance. The reason why we're not seeing like all the people actually getting their karma when it comes to, war and that kind of stuff is because Saturn's not in Libra. Saturn's in the opposite sign of Libra. So therefore, you're not really going to see the karma play out until Saturn transits through Libra, which is it's going to take a long time. Saturn in each sign is like, 2.5 to 3 years, right? So it's going to be years before we actually see it's like a 9-year transit. In 9 years, you'll see the karmic aspects of what has been happening today. That's why Saturn rules time. Time is an illusion. It's a human construct. Therefore, we want things to happen now, but everything really is in due time. The stars have to align.
Well, a lot of people already have gotten their karma because if you look at the photos of a lot of the political figures from the past, like the photos from the 80s and 90s, and you look at it now, you can see that they have already been replaced, which means the originals have been punished, if not, executed or gone. Some of the originals are having a leash on their neck, as to put it, and they're playing out what they're supposed to play out just to help wake people up. But I've seen a lot of people have already been gone. So
Oh,
justice
yeah.
has been served in a lot of areas.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. And that's where, there's somebody else playing the part.
Yeah.
It's almost like what is it, Mitch McConnell who's missing
Yeah.
right now? He's
Mhm.
Yeah.
actually dead, and I don't know why they're utilizing like the hiding of it. But
If,
well, Mercury retrograde, they don't really want to say anything. Again, communication backwards, so they're not really telling us that he's already dead, but he
but you
died.
can tell by the
Yeah.
vibration that he's already gone.
Yeah.
That energy, I'm very strong when it comes to energy vibration. By the way, Saturn in Egyptian is the god Set, who is also chaos.
Yeah.
So we know that's exactly right because we're in Mercury. Mercury does cause chaos, and Saturn doesn't help at all.
Well, and that's why everybody's got such mass anxiety. I know, like for me, nonstop all day long, for especially in the past week, Mercury is that anxiousness, and everybody's feeling anxious, and because it's in Cancer, it's that water sign. Everybody's feeling really emotionally
Yeah, I'm getting
overwhelmed.
calls, getting
I have
clients
gotten
like crazy
call
for that.
after
Yeah.
call after
Peace.
call after call
Yeah.
of people crying.
Peace.
Yes.
Make sure
Yeah.
you have hematite with you, and
Yeah.
make sure you have black tourmaline with you to repel all that.
Oh yeah.
Those energy. I never
We have
leave the
that.
house without a black tourmaline, and I have lapis, which balances me perfectly because
Yeah.
I'm a Virgo. We are grounded, but we're also sand. We have the mutable sign of the zodiac of Virgo. We're the ones that move. Capricorn and Taurus don't move as fast.
Yes.
If at all, Capricorn doesn't really like to move at all. So it's better for us to have that tourmaline or to have that hematite to hold on to ground us because
Yeah.
we're sand in the wind actually right
Well,
now.
and look at my
And
surroundings.
yeah.
I'm on
Yeah,
20
Tiger's Eye.
acres of beautiful forest land. I
Yeah.
just go transmute, take a shower, go out and play in my
Yeah,
garden.
you got
I live in
and
Savannah,
grounding is
Georgia.
thing.
I have
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
I've got palm trees, I've got forest around me, white-tailed deer, all kinds of beautiful things around me. So I'm very much at peace and very much serene. And that's why I'm able to work the way I work now myself.
Yeah, and all you have to do is, for those who are not surrounded with all of that, you just can go outside, find some grass or stick your feet in the stream or something like that. That's all grounding to help you. But yeah, you and I have been apparently seeing a lot of people that are with all of this anxiety. I've been getting a lot of clients that's just constant anxiety. So one of the things you can do is square breathing. So if you guys want to contact me for that, I can teach you. But square breathing is definitely helped a lot of my clients with it. But the anxiety, it's just that they're pushing out as much of the symbolisms that they can on people, and it does affect their minds.
Well, and we're all affected emotionally. If we didn't have
Yeah,
that thing called a human emotion, we'd be able to breeze through life like no other. And
right.
so, you can't piss it away or smoke it away or
Yeah,
numb it away. You literally have to bask in it.
yeah,
Somebody asked me recently, like, Peace, are you happy? And I'm like, what is
Yeah.
that? Like, what is that? It's not about happiness for me. It's
yeah,
about peace. Happiness is something that somebody else can take away outside of yourself if you allow it. Like for me, I'm at peace, even though there's a lot of stuff going on around me. I've had to, with my clients, it's not happening to you, it's
yeah,
happening for you. And
yeah,
once you process those emotions and allow yourself to feel them, then you're not like
yeah,
sweeping them under the rug,
yeah. That's
and
what shadow work
they're
is.
going to come
Yep.
back later. They're going to come back later, but you're also feeling the weight of the world. I just put out a YouTube video the other day on this topic about how everybody is feeling the weight of the world. Like you woke up feeling really good this morning, but then all of a sudden you just got this yuckiness and this anxiety that's coming out of nowhere. And you're like, what in the hell, And once you can figure out that, we are all connected, that's why we're never alone, we're all one. You can start feeling the weight of the world because it's that ebb and flow. It's the emotion, right? And so we're all connected to that. And with that said, it's like once you can call it out and recognize that it's not yours, all of a sudden it can like lighten up on you a little bit, write a letter, that's grounding, putting pen to paper, instead of being on your phone, get off your phone. Don't be watching the news. The news has nothing to tell you. It's going to tell you the sky is falling, and we are so overly stimulated right now. Like for me, I spend less time on social media, less time on my phone, and more time out in nature and doing the things that I can control and not paying attention to all the crap of the world.
Those are amazing advice.
Hey, Peace and Michael, I'm a Capricorn. Is this going to affect me?
Yes, it is.
Very much
Because
so.
it is
Sure.
your ruling planet. It's absolutely going to affect you. Just like Mercury affects him and I more because it's our ruling planet.
Okay,
But I've
so
learned how to skate
Grateful
through
to be
that.
Pisces.
is it a bad thing or a good thing?
No, you can't. I do not do good or bad. It
Yeah,
just
it's not good or bad.
It's
It's
challenging. That's what I would call it. Challenging.
Not necessarily. I
Do you know
look
what
at
I
Saturn
mean?
retrograde as like the pressure comes off. When Saturn's moving direct, he's slow, he's methodical, he wants the details, and it feels like maybe you're walking through freaking mud. When Saturn goes retrograde, it's like you're no longer like trying to move through something. It actually takes the brakes off a little bit and lets you get the things done so you can go back over the things you couldn't take care of. So a lot of people like fear retrogrades. I don't like doing the whole fear mongering shit, honestly, because you learn you've been doing it your whole life without even realizing you're doing it. And Saturn is the planet of maturity. So he is maturing all of us. This is like a parent who has Saturn in the 5th house. That means you can't fix all your freaking kids' problems. That means that the kid needs to mature, the kid needs to grow up, and the kid needs to figure it out themselves. Well, now we're the adults. And now if we've always reacted or reacted a certain way, maybe we can learn how to respond differently because it makes people not want to be around us when we're acting like a douche. And
I don't allow that to happen to me anymore. I understand completely what you're saying. I put everybody else's problems. I'm like, you know what? You're 62 years old. Get over it. It's your turn. I'm 67 years old. I have my life. I'm a writer. And when I have what you were saying, Peace, is exactly true. When I need to focus, I get back into my pages and I start working on my book. And that's it. I'm in that space. I'm not in, oh my God, it's raining, or, someone's just had a car accident or whatever. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? I've learned that I can't control everything. I can only control me. And even then, I can control only the energy I allow myself to control. I'm not all over the place. You can't be anymore. And being a Virgo, that's hard because we are all over the place.
I'm
We
not.
want to be. We want to help people all over the place, and we're the enablers of the zodiac too. We're the ones that take care of everybody else. So
Oh,
Unless
we
you're
got to learn to
evolved.
turn that off.
Unless you've evolved, you learn how to
yeah.
turn that off. Paul, what were you wanting to
Absolutely,
say?
I
Yeah.
have. It took me
Okay,
all
well,
my
hold
life.
on, you guys. Carolyn Castro, who's watching the show, she says, "Yes, I almost feel like when I go out in public, I have been in the twilight zone. It's so weird. Wondering if shutting down CERN could have something to do with it." What do you guys?
I think that too many people give too much attention to CERN.
Yeah.
I think that that's more of a fear mongering tactic. Do I think that it has something to do with it? Sure. But is it planetary? Absolutely. And everything is controlled by planetary, regardless of your belief. That's the best part about astrology is doesn't require your belief. It just is. Whereas God requires a belief, right? It requires the person to believe in something that is outside of themselves that they've never actually seen. God is within us. But with that said, I don't feel like CERN needs to get as much attention as, again, it's a fear mongering tactic. If we can scare the shit out of the collective, then okay, we've got them by the balls. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think that it's situational because of all the outer planets that have just shifted into new houses. It's like we're all baby giraffes right now that are standing up for the very first time. We're all going to be really wobbly as we come into this new world, this new earth the new vibration that we have literally just transited into fully. And so it's going to take a little bit of us getting used to this new energy. And yeah, you do feel like you're walking through the freaking twilight zone. You feel like everything around you, it looks nothing like what you're used to. It's like we're on this other side in this mirror reflection and we're like looking back going, what in the hell? Your friendships aren't the same. Your living situations aren't the same. Your surroundings aren't the same. AI taking over. I mean, we are in a twilight zone, but embrace it because it's actually fun.
I wish I'd met you a long time ago. There's such a positive connection around you, such positive aura, and you're very much a modern Pythia, and I love that. That's so cool. You
Thank
are a true visionary, and that's so clear. And I applaud you. I really wanted to say that. I really
Thank you,
applaud
Michael.
you, Keith.
That was very nice of you. I appreciate that.
I
So what?
speak from my heart and with my big Brooklyn mouth.
Yeah. So what's happening with CERN is very similar to like having a spill on the kitchen floor. It's not going to affect the whole house. It's a little thing that's actually just going on, and it's getting cleaned up. But it shouldn't affect the rest of the house, kind of thing. So it's just a little spill, probably a nick in a time, or a little something wave in the reality. But it should not really affect you. I think more of the stuff, which I agree with Pete, is more of a planetary thing that's going on in the alignment sort of stuff. I I really think that, like she said, embrace it. I mean, it's not gonna bite you. It's gonna bite you, but it's not gonna kill you. It shouldn't. Um,
You had
it's
more
just
of a
something that
chance
to
with
be. Yeah,
you had more of a chance with the murder hornets that were only out for about 2 seconds. They didn't get enough
Yeah.
stage time. Yeah, it's like a blip.
yeah.
Like
It's not. It's
But
just
you know what?
something to. There's something to ride. It's something to surf. It's. I think more than anything, it's there to get us to practice, to recognize ourselves more than anything. To recognize who we are, and it's going to give us that chance because it's going to crack the lid open on what we are. Because a lot of times we keep ourselves enclosed, we keep ourselves to ourselves, and now this is going to almost like push, almost like a dimension within ourselves, if you will, and make us take a really good look at it and work on how to deal with it.
Steve Warder is going to say something. Steve?
Well, I was going to say a couple things. Murder hornets look really cool. Number one. Number two, that would be a great bumper sticker. Don't be a douche. You know. And the third thing is, I'm a Libra, man. I want justice, and that's just kind of bubbles up inside me. And I mean, I couldn't quite be a Charles Bronson character, you know, shooting bad guys. But you know, it's sometimes you watch those ridiculous movies, and it's a bit cathartic.
Maybe Danny Trejo.
Don't worry, I'm nonviolent.
Yeah, Steve, I see you as a Clint Eastwood guy shooting up bad guys.
Get off my lawn.
It's that squint of mine. That's people mistake me for Clint Eastwood all the time.
I want to be Columbo.
Hey.
You got to have the coat. You got to have the.
And I've got two good eyes. That's a problem.
Hey, I'm going to shift this conversation a little bit. There was also too. I know something on Peace's Facebook wall. She was talking about parasites.
Oh, yeah.
Steve,
Okay.
Can you discuss that a little bit with us?
Okay. So I've been doing studies on parasites for a really long time. I have had a lot of health issues. I've had 7 surgeries. As a Virgo, we usually have a lot of health, and I have Saturn in Virgo. So my health is always on the chopping block. So, you know, at a very young age, I lived on a farm. And as anybody knows, they've done a lot of studies that parasites, if you have animals, you live on a farm, you are going to have parasites. If you live on this earth, you breathe this air, you eat our food, meat, fish, doesn't matter, even fruits and vegetables, we all have parasites. So, you know, I went through a lot of health issues, and then I got into doing parasite cleanses. I started doing like a lot of research on them. Again, Virgo. And I did as much research as I possibly could. And I'm the kind of person that's going to try what I've been researching and what other people have researched. And, you know, I'm the kind of person that's going to go and study the absolute crap out of something and then try it myself and see if it's tried and true. So for the past year and a half, I have been doing parasite cleanses like almost every 6 months to a year. And technically, I'm on a parasite cleanse right now. I'm doing a liver and lymph detox, and then I'll go into my parasite detox, and then I'll do a heavy metal detox, and then I should be done. It's like a 3-month process. So we have lots of different parasites. We have over 1,000 different parasites that live on and in us. Over 1,000. Some of them are good. Some of them are actually not bad for you. But other ones are actually terrible. Tapeworms, Giardia, however you want to say that. We've got pinworms, we've got liver flukes, lice. If you've ever been bit by a mosquito, you have parasites. You know, so with that said, it has not been honored in the United States of America. If you walk into a doctor's office, they're going to laugh you right out of that doctor's office. And then just to appease you, and they're going to actually say, okay, let's go ahead and do a fecal sample. And they're just going to send it to your regular diagnostic center. But here's the deal with parasites. Some of them are microscopic. Some of them, you know, they're not just hanging out like, wee, you know, unless you're actually doing something like eating pumpkin seeds or doing a parasite cleanse, you're not going to be able to actually see them. And then you're going to show up as a negative test if your test over to a diagnostic center. So where it needs to be sent is to a parasitologist, and there is few and far between. And insurance companies will not pay for your fecal sample to go to a parasitologist. So here's the deal. How do you know if you got parasites? You can actually lift up your upper lid, and if you have those little red squiggly things up there and they look like little lines, those are parasites. If you're seeing little flecks in your eyes, little black marks in your eyes, you have parasites. Like I said, if you've never done a parasite cleanse and you don't have a balanced pH body, you're not eating cloves or drinking black walnut or wormwood or oregano on a daily basis, or kimchi or any of those types of things, pumpkin seeds raw, what is it? Oh gosh, I can't even think. Papaya seeds, okay, swallowing papaya seeds will also help you with parasites. So, but there's much more to that.
What's with the lettuce thing?
So
Everybody's talking about the lettuce.
is a farce. The lettuce thing is a farce. Listen, that's bullshit. They're talking about lettuce. They're also talking about blueberries. Now, what I want you guys to do is just use, like, I don't know, common sense and go look up 6G towers, because Trump's been talking a lot about like the 6G towers. Can't wait for the 6G towers to come up. And again, I'm neither side. I'm not political. I never voted, never will. I don't give a shit about either side. They're both against us. They both don't care about us. But the fact that you're dancing around over 6G, we were never meant to have that much Wi-Fi technology around us. And if you go back and do your research, a lot of schools have now admitted that the 5G towers that are around the kids' schools are causing some of the ADHD. It's not the cause, but it's also causing cancers. And a lot of schools have now taken down those 5G towers around their schools. So now you go and you look up the side effects to the 6G towers, and then you look up the side effects to, I don't know, parasites. Okay, you notice I mentioned earlier that if you bring up parasites to your doctor, they usually laugh you out of the office, or if they do a fecal sample, they'll say that it's negative. Okay, so this is going to backfire on them. So now they're admitting that there's a thing called parasites when they're trying to push so much pharmaceuticals on us. Well, now everybody's going to run out and do a parasite cleanse, but they're not going to think, oh, these cell phones, these tablets, the Wi-Fi I've got all over my damn house, my Wi-Fi television and all that. And then you'll have T-Mobile dancing around to get you to go out and buy your 6G because it's so much faster. And it's all a sales ploy, but those aren't parasites. That's your 6G towers, and you're all being affected by them. Having a flock camera in your area is also putting off all of those.
Oh my God, what?
Whoa.
Where did she come from?
What was that?
Who is
Yeah.
that?
Wow. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Mercury retrograde. That was awesome.
Seriously.
And that felt right in. Oh my God, what is exactly right? And that's what she just said. Like,
Well,
oh
there
my
is-
God, like open your eyes. You know, you have to think much bigger. It's never what they say that it is. It's what they're not saying. So on top of it, with the parasites, I suggest everyone be doing a parasite cleanse. Every 6 months to a year to 24 months, you should be doing a parasite cleanse. If you live on this earth, you breathe this air, you drink this water, you eat this food, you have parasites. And 100% of all animal owners, 100%, not 99, not 99.4, 100% of all animal parents have parasites. So for all of you who are talking about your cats, I got my dog out here. I got chickens. I get bit by mosquitoes because I live in a freaking rainforest. You got parasites. So it's really good for you to cleanse your system every I do mine every 6 months because I'm out here and I do have a lot of health issues. So,
Be
but
careful with wormwood, though, dear. That's extremely poisonous.
yeah, and I am willing to do it, and I'm happy with the results. I actually had a worm wave at me on his way down, and that right there was satisfying enough. I've done enough research and things like that, and where I'm getting mine is all reputable sources, and it's all trusted. You got to know where you're going and where you're harvesting. I'm not the one making it, but it's a woman that I absolutely trust, and I've seen the results. And I love them, and I feel better. The mind fog, and then not getting so swept up in all this fear. You know, like on every supplement bottle you have, it says it's not FDA approved and be afraid of it. It causes cancer. It's no more cancer than your pharmaceuticals and the things I won't touch.
I do not trust the FDA because they can approve of things that are absolutely awful for you. Then that's the first sign right there. They're the last people you should worry about. I don't look
Everything
at
in
the FDA
moderation.
labels. Yeah, I don't
When
Everything
you
in
look at some of
moderation.
these when you look at some of these medicines, and one of the side effects is death, I think that's a problem.
When the side effects are a long list and then they
Yeah.
go and then they end it with and more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have just rather find the what they call as an alternative medicine and just do it my damn self. And I've healed myself more times with herbs than any of the help I've ever gotten from the medical industry.
You know, I wonder who that guy is at the end of the commercials that talks so quickly, that has about about 50 different ailments that could result of that medication, and
Yeah.
they get it into 30 seconds. It's pretty.
And they
pretty
put all
astounding.
these pretty songs, all these little things about Ozempic or the rest of
And
them.
everybody's
It's all so
smiling,
cute.
Yeah.
holding hands, and they're
but one of the
frolicking
side
through the
effects is
forest.
that you could die.
it
I
was
mean,
so
That is
happy.
actually
right?
their way. That's actually their way of trying to put it into our consciousness as well by
You know.
running these commercials over and over again about certain types of illness, so that these illnesses are in your head, and then you're going to think you have those illnesses, and then you're going to think you need to seek out the medicine for it. That's actually the sales pitch.
Oh yes, my nose fell off, but I feel so much better.
Yeah.
And also-
really.
Grandizer 12 says Dr. Berg, popular doctor online, discusses about the effect of bad wiring has on the human body. He was sleeping against the wall and was having some health issues. It was the wiring. And then Carolyn Castro says, I tried the orango and the black seed oil combo.
Yes, with the parasite cleanse, you should be doing like a I'll be honest with you, I'll plug this business because she is freaking amazing. I trust her. I love her personality. I love her education. Healthprimitive.com. That's where I get my parasite cleanse. Shout out to Casey. She's amazing. And I love all of her information. And Dr. Berg, I love him too. I've learned a lot from him. Like I said, I only use doctors for the tests, and then I go back and I heal it all naturally. You should see the FARM must-see that I have here at my house.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but let's go back to what you were talking about, death and digital creators too. And yes, Paul, you are absolutely correct, but you also have to look a little deeper on these digital creators. Once they start hitting like a lot of followers, this is where they're putting their life on the line. And a lot of them are also sellouts, because this is where big companies can start marketing through them. They pay them a lot of freaking money. And if they also try to go against whatever it is that they're supposed to be selling, because they wake up and realize that they're poisoning people, that can also wipe them out as well. So we do have to be really mindful about the type of people. It doesn't matter how many followers you have on social media. People use that all the time. It's the people who are being honest. All too often we're taking all these social media influencers information like God, and you have to look at like, who the hell's paying them? Who's paying them? Like, I just unfollowed some lady. She was funny. She was freaking hilarious. And then next thing I know, she's actually selling trizipatide or something, one of those Ozempic things. And I'm like, girl, you just sold yourself out. Done. Like, no, thank you. So, and she obviously just got paid to plug that. And then she had her own coupon code to use if you wanted to go and get it. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to see now that Jupiter's in Leo, which Pisces and Leo rules celebrities. And being that Uranus is in Gemini, Uranus is digital. So you're seeing a lot of these digital creators with Pluto now in Aquarius that are being whacked. And you're going to see a lot more than that, because Pluto's going to be in that area of Aquarius until 2044, and Pluto's death.
Yeah, it's amazing because every time the news pops up on the internet and I'm reading it, there's some influencer over here got killed or something like that. It's like, what is going on? All these influencers.
Well, because a lot of them are talking about things that they shouldn't be talking. And I put air quotations when I say shouldn't be talking about. Well, it's like Charlie Kirk. They whacked him right there on national TV just to like let everybody know, if you speak out of line, this is what we're capable of. That's why they make it national. I mean,
Look what happened to David Wilcock.
Yeah.
What they're trying to do is they're trying to pull the threads of trying to, I guess if you want to use the term leaderless, because they know that things are coming up that would make all of us uncomfortable. And if we don't have, people out there to kind of help ground us, if you will, and say, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We're going to be fine, and they want to shut those people up. that tells us what's, give us an inkling of what's going on, that is connected to, higher source and power in such a way that they understand and help us kind of navigate through it. And those who can are very good at that. They want to shut them up because they want us to be freaked out, separated, sprayed out, spread out. They want us to be, I guess, I don't want to use the term leadered, but they want us to feel that there is nobody to go to when shit hits the fan. That's what they're hoping.
We're in the
No,
same
that's
cycles that
yeah.
were happened when Pompeii sunk and when Atlantis sunk. And we're also in the same cycle. Today's Alexander the Great's birthday. 2 days ago was Julius Caesar's birthday. And we're in the cycle that they had, their life cycles. Julius Caesar got all the way up to the top. And then what happened? He became Swiss cheese. Because on March 15th, 49 BC, I think it was, the senators had had enough of him. He was too powerful for his own good, and his own people turned on him, and he became literally holy.
Well,
29,
look
I
what
think it
happened
was
to
20.
Jesus and his family. They went after him, they didn't like him.
Jesus
They
was
had
the
to
son,
shut him
was
up,
from a family, he was from the house of David. And what happened was Herod Agrippa knew that that man was really Hebrew royalty, and Herod Agrippa wasn't. He was appointed by Caesar. So that was him and the Pharisees. If he didn't like, the Pharisees didn't like the way he was pushing things. He said, I came to fulfill the covenant of Abraham. I've come to fix Judaism. And they didn't want to hear that. They were all appointed by Rome. So he was going outside of Rome, and he was really Hebrew royalty. And Herod wasn't. Herod was appointed by Tiberius. So that was not going to work with them. So that's why he was removed, as it were.
Well, we're in the same planetary alignment right now, too, of the Civil
Yes.
War. The Civil
Yes, we
War.
are.
With
Yeah.
Uranus and Gemini, if you go back and look at the last transit of Uranus and Gemini, that was the kickoff of the Civil War. And I'm not going to say history repeats itself, but it sure does
It
look
does.
familiar.
Boy, I'm telling
I
you.
want you to go back further, though. I want you to look at when Pompeii fell, and I want you to look at Atlantis. I know, Peace, that you're like me. You're a chronicler, and you are all about cycles. You're an amazing being that way, and I know you'll see that when you look into the cycles of time. That we are in a very interesting period right now because we are in a period of what the Beatles would have called revolution.
Well, absolutely. That's Pluto in Aquarius. Aquarius
Exactly.
is the revolution. That's
Hmm.
where the rebellion started in the age of Aquarius. And
Well,
we're
remember,
right there.
Aquarius was born in chaos.
Yeah.
When it started to dawn, it was, and it's the way it was. It's the same way when the Titans, like Saturn, Kronos, when they all broke loose from what was called in Egyptian the river of Nun, the river of chaos, the river of crazy, when they all started to come, and become powerful, and then all of a sudden, what happened in Greece was the Olympians said, "Now hold on here." And they put the people, the old gods, in the refrigerator and brought the new gods forth. And that's kind of what's happening now too. There's an energy form that's waking up, that's brand new, but it's not brand new. Being reborn, shall we say? Do you not agree?
Oh yeah, we're already in the rebirth process.
We
Like
sure
that's
are.
already happened. We're already on the other side. That's why everybody's having such a tough enough time with this. And it is through chaos. Aquarius is ruled by Saturn and Uranus, and they are both very chaotic, demonic
They
placements.
certainly
But
are.
Uranus is the planet of evolution. It's the shock factor, yes. It's the expect the unexpected. It's the only planet that cannot be predicted whatsoever. And so it comes as a shock to people, like something comes out of the blue. But that's like, look at the Aquariuses in your life, right? You never know what they're going to be able, or what they're doing. They're very unpredictable people, and they're very rebellious. If you try to push a Aquarius down, they're not going to go for that for very long. They need to be able to come and go as they please.
I
And it's all
was
about, go ahead.
Steve,
I was
go ahead.
married. to a double Aquarian once, so I don't know
No,
what that
God,
meant.
you
But
poor thing. And your Libra, that's a horror show. Two winds blowing at each other. I mean, that's really rough.
But it is a trine, actually. That's not a bad, necessarily fully
Why
a
don't-
bad thing. Two people all up in their head, though.
well,
The
I don't know much about
north node of my
astrology,
moon-
but I'm not adverse to a Uranus joke every once in a while. But I won't go there now.
You just need a little prep H, that's all.
What were you going to say, Paul? What did you want to say?
My north node of my moon is in Libra, and all of my longest relationships and all my best relationships are in Libra. And guess who I just started to date? A Libra. And my late husband was what? A Libra. So it's really weird. And the funny thing is I'm 9/12 and he is 10/13. Da-da-dum. And it's like, here we
9/13.
are.
I'm 9/13.
Hey, everybody, I'm going
Oh
to
my
find out.
God. See, that's why we get along. I knew it.
This show is What's on Your Mind, so I need to find out what's on Sue's mind and what's on Steve's mind. Sue, what's on your mind?
Oh, what's been on my mind lately? You know what's been on my mind lately? I'm actually seeing one of the things that are on my mind is the things that are going on politically. I don't really watch the news much anymore, other than what comes across my feed on my phone. I will get notifications and read articles, but one of the things that I've been fighting against is the school system, which has I'm homeschooling my daughter because my last daughter, my older daughter, the school system took her, and now she's in all these crazy things that has to do with gender change and all that. She was always a girly girl. We're talking about the puffy dresses. We're talking about pink was her color and things like that, fluff and everything, girly girl. And then all of a sudden she comes home and says, "I'm a boy." And it's really bothered me. The school called me and told her I need to call her, a boy, and call her by her new name. And I said,
Bullshit.
"We're not doing this."
Oh, come
And-
on.
And so we know that the influence there is in the school, though. So I had made a decision that after I gave birth to my third daughter, I said, "Okay, we're not going to do this." So I am homeschooling her to keep her away from
Excellent.
a lot of
I
the
don't
stuff
blame
that
you. My
goes
God.
Oh.
Thank God.
because I found out, because I was going to send her to school when she was 3. They have these pre-K classes that you can take around starting at 3 and 4. And the problem is, though, they actually had booklets and workbooks that would teach a kid that age on what to do, believe it or not, with a dildo. That was
What?
absolutely disgusting. And I'm like,
No,
why
that's
does a kid that
gotta
age
stop.
need to? Why would they need to even know these things exist? That's just I know. Ew.
They don't.
And-
Children should have a kind of a safe area.
Yeah,
Let them
That's-
develop
that
on
is
their own.
yeah. The
Let them
sandbox.
find their
let them
own way.
play. Yeah,
That's completely unacceptable. I agree
So,
with you, Sue.
it's in the workbooks. It's in. They talk about it. The whole. It's just the agenda. It's all the satanic agenda that's going on. I understand people are born the way they're born, but it's when it's being influenced by outside, that's when I start having a problem with it. And it's just that I felt that I'd be better off homeschooling her, and I was been afraid of homeschooling because I figured, the education level and stuff, I was worried about, the math level. And then I realized, what? School's indoctrinated anyway, so I'm just going to do it however I want to. So I've been teaching her meditation, chakras. I've been teaching her the energies of the earth. I've been teaching her vibration. I still have to teach her how to read and write. She's the only one in her group of friends, because all of her friends are going to the regular school. They don't even know how to tell time by an analog clock. She does.
Oh my God.
They don't know how to write cursive. She does. She's even into calligraphy. So
They
I
can't
mean,
be the fact that they're not even teaching cursive handwriting anymore is ridiculous.
You know
Yeah.
why? Hold on. You know why?
Why?
Split that up.
Yeah.
Curse,
yeah,
sieve.
curse. Yeah.
Oh,
the
right,
curse.
fine,
It's all
but we
spelled.
do.
They
They don't
don't
I
even
want
think
say the
them-
word. It's spelled.
They don't want them
handwriting is
to know
handwriting is
how to do
beautiful.
that because it gets it into the ethers much faster. You can, like, spelling is spells. right?
Yes.
And so, of
Yeah.
course, that's why they took cursive out of schools, is because they didn't want. Every generation in school has always been smarter than their parents, right? They're supposed
Yeah.
to evolve in school.
Yeah.
Somewhere after Gen X, the kids got dumber and
Yes.
Yeah.
dumber. And
And
did you also
arrogant.
notice that they took out cursive at that time? They took out all kinds of different things, and now they've made them stupid. None
Yeah.
of
Well,
these kids.
they don't have to write. They don't even know.
Nope.
They don't even have to use math at all because the
They can't
phone does.
spell either. Yeah.
The
It's just
phone does everything. They
Yep.
yeah.
yell, Alexa, what can you do for me? Or Siri, if you've got that kind of a phone. Spell this, do that, or they Google everything. They don't even have to read everything. They practically need to chew the meat. The food's been cut up for them already,
Yeah.
and they don't go anywhere because they can virtually go everywhere. They're not looking at the world anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you could. It's
So
sad to
they
say.
want you to stop from being grounded. That's why.
They want to take you as far away and divide your
Yeah.
family as much as possible, because through division,
Yep.
it's easier to control.
Yeah, and
I've
it has
lived
to
all.
divide.
I've
My
been all
daughter
over
will.
this world.
Sue,
My
I
middle
want to
daughter will
say,
have nothing to do with me because of what they did.
Sue, I just want to say
Yeah.
from one mother to another, I am so sorry.
Thank you.
I have 3 daughters, and I am so grateful that I had them when I did. They're in their like mid 20s to 30s now, and I have to
Yeah.
honestly say I could never imagine being a parent at this time with
Yeah.
this shit going on.
It is rough.
It breaks my heart. It is something that I am avidly working against, even in my job, helping parents go through that, because that is a horrible feeling. And then being divided from your baby, somebody
Yeah.
that you gave birth to, that society came in and brainwashed. And I can only imagine how that
Yeah.
must make you feel.
Yeah, they took my 2 oldest daughters because when my oldest is, she's getting into her 30s, and she she actually was around the time when they were screaming about how abortion is a good thing, and that's just a sacrifice for Baal. So but they don't see it at that, and they using all these words. Even Charlie Kirk has confirmed everything I was teaching. That they use words. One of the things that the satanic world will use was take words and rearrange words and use different words, change definitions, change vocabulary in order to minimize what something is. Something that's horrible. That's their thing. That's their motto. That's their game. It's their hobby. And so, one of the things is that she even was huge on, abortion. And she was talking about, heartbeat, brainwaves. And I said, it's a baby. A baby starts when the sperm and egg says hello to each other, you know. And I talk about, I was even, one of the things that was on my mind was I was teaching other young people about relationships, like marriage and things like that, because a lot of people are acting like that marriage is a suggestion. And I said, even the sperm in the egg understood what marriage is, because what happens when the sperm enters the egg? It causes it close off so that no other sperms can get in, and they know exactly what marriage is than a lot of people are understanding what marriage is. Marriage is the same thing. Once you get married to somebody, you are closed off. You cannot be in a dating mindset when you're married. And that's the two mindsets that I try to teach people, is that when you're dating, you're in a dating mindset. When you're married, you need to be in a married mindset. You cannot be in a dating mindset, like leaving one foot open in the door and still keep looking for possibilities and options and stuff. And that's what they have been pushing on TV, movies, and everything, that marriage is a suggestion. And that's another way how they're breaking families. They're breaking the definition of what a baby is. They're breaking definitions of what a family is. They're breaking the meanings of everything that is good. And that's what they want to do. They want to divide. And then I've lost my 2 elders, and that's not why I'm protecting my 3rd daughter now, because I've seen what has happened, what the agenda has been doing, and they're not seeing it as an agenda. They're seeing it as a normal thing, and they're protecting it with their teeth, unfortunately.
We have 2 comments. Grandizer 12 says, if you are old enough, do you remember when they said taking out shorthand would make us dumber? I don't know about that. Then Carolyn Castro says, I work at an elementary school. Some 5th graders could not read.
That's bad.
I want to tell you something really and this is really stupid. Forgive me, but there's a difference between ignorance and stupid. About 3 years ago, I was at the Empire State Building. I lived in New York at the time, and I bought a Tic Tac, the box of Tic Tacs. It was $1.79. I handed the girl $2, and the lights went out, so the computer went off. She couldn't make change. She couldn't tell me what 179 minus 200 was. I said to her, okay, get a pencil and paper and do that. And she got on her phone. She had to go calculate on the phone. And she was 24 years old. I was mortified that someone couldn't figure out what 179 minus 200 was.
Well, like they said, they don't want to. What was it? What was that saying? Something about not wanting them to be educated. They want a generation of workers, not thinkers.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't have an extension cord stuck in my foot. I have a
Yeah.
brain and a
They
mind.
teach them in school just enough to get them through to work
Well-
a corporate job and be their worker bees, but not enough to actually.
But she was
Keep with that.
she was actually like panicking because the register wasn't on. And oh my God, what am I going to do? And I handed her cash. And she said, you really could have just used the credit card. I said, ma'am, the young lady, the terminal's down. And she goes, oh my God, that's right. And they didn't have one of those things, so she could do the credit card later. God forbid and goddess forbid. I was so embarrassed that she couldn't do that. I said, what is 10 minus 9? And she couldn't do it.
Well, they wanted, if you notice, the school system is exactly like the prison system. It's really bad. By the way, Peace, thank you very much for what you said. I really appreciate it. But yeah, the system is, I sat there and I thought about it recently, how the school system is exactly like the prison system.
100%.
It's how you walk in line. It's how you sit and shut up all day. It's how the school systems run. It's the lighting. You're sitting at a desk. You're going to do that when you grow up in a corporate. You end up in prison. It's the same thing. It's all the same stuff. My daughter, and scheduling, the whole thing about scheduling. Our family does not live by the clock and the calendar mostly. We have to do a little bit, because my husband works a job. But during the school year, she goes to class whenever she's ready. I do not put her on a set time. Sometimes she feels better and thinks better at night due to what time of the year it is, what time of the month they are and stuff. She actually functions better in the evening, so she does her class in the evening. Another time she functions better doing the class during the morning hours. So I let her do things however it works for her, and she does way better. She's actually a grade ahead than what she's supposed to be. So, that's just still the school metric measurements, but still, you really don't have to, because time's an illusion. We kind of function what our body does instead. We function by how the rhythm of the earth is. That's how we mostly live by.
Yeah. Now I'm going to ask, we haven't got to Steve Ward. Steve, what is on your mind?
Well, just very quickly, Charlie Kirk, I didn't know anything about him until he was murdered. But in the clips afterwards, even though I didn't come from the same religious perspective he did, he would discuss issues with people he disagreed with and not get nasty or ad hominem. And, so it just is inexplicable that somebody wanted to take him out like that. But anyway, I don't normally do politics on these things. One thing I'm doing is my house is disorganized. I'm getting rid of stuff for goodwill and cleaning and ripping up boxes. But one of the things I'm focusing on, the Mothman Festival is coming up in September. Jeff Wamsley usually has me speak there, the last speaker on Sunday. So I've been preparing a talk. It's going to deal with the Mothman Prophecies book by John Keel, but it will be an aspect that people usually don't cover, and it's the silent contactees. John Keel was in contact with many individuals during that time period in the 60s with people that firmly believed they were communicating with some kind of an other intelligence, and they would get predictions. Sometimes the predictions would come true, and sometimes they were just way off. And it all led up to the collapse of the Silver Bridge. Very bizarre. There's kind of a trickster element to some of these things. There's also another book. I mean, there's several sources I'm including, but there's another book called The Siren Call of the Hungry Ghosts by Joe Fisher. He was in contact with a medium, and these so-called discarnate entities were coming through and giving all kinds of information. He was hell-bent on proving that these things were true. He was talking to World War II pilots that had died, a woman that supposedly he was in contact with through various reincarnations, and in England and Greece. He went there with the idea to prove that these things were correct. Some elements were absolutely correct, and nobody could have really known about it. There was nothing in the history books to prove it for the average person. But some of them were just way, way off. Again, the deception, the trickster element there. So it's really a fascinating area where people get into this. They get into communication with so-called discarnate entities, but you have to be very careful, because while some of the information is spot on, some of it is not. And when the Silver Bridge collapsed in 1967, there was a lot of misdirection there. So I have all kinds of sources that I'm delving into, and we'll have to come up with a coherent presentation by September.
Well, thank you, Steve. And I'm going to tell you what's on my mind. Every single time I open up this computer, I'm seeing something about animal abuse. And it just pisses me off. And I just saw a video where some idiot in his big ass truck had this horse tied up to the back of the truck, and he dragged the horse, killing it. That kind of stuff needs to stop. And these people who abuse animals like that, they need to get life in prison. I don't care. Just get rid of them, because it's just cruel. And then another video I just saw a couple of days ago, they caught this woman on camera. She has her freaking 12-year-old son next to her, and she's dumping kittens off on the side of the road.
I can't listen to this, Paul. I can't do it.
Yeah, it was it's horrible. And it turns
well, Saturn retrograde, what goes around comes around, and it's going to come back in ways that you would never even think to put two and two together. So just know that even though something outside of themselves might not be happening yet, something that's bigger is going to be taking them down.
Yeah.
And you know what else, Paul? People that buy dogs and cats or whatever for their children, they have to supervise them. Children don't know any better. And I've seen situations where gross parents ignore the animal, and the child sometimes doesn't know better, and it's just equally as bad to see a innocent animal abused by a child that just doesn't understand the consequences of their actions.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
So correct there, Steve. So correct.
I worked for an animal shelter in Florida, and every year we had, 50 or 60 baby chicks come in, and bunny rabbits, because they were given away for presents in Easter.
Oh,
and
God.
when the chicken was
You're still
usually
doing
a
that?
rooster, and instead of taking care of them, they would dump them. Or they would, just let the thing die. We had so many abused rabbits and abused chickens it was unbelievable. And then also the pit bull fighting and all kinds of awful things. I left that job because I couldn't take it anymore. There was so much animal abuse in Florida, and that was in the early 80s, and that was a nightmare. I know exactly what you mean.
Hey, Peace, what happened?
Tree just snapped and fell. A tree literally just snapped in half and fell.
Oh, geez.
A tree fell?
It just snapped and fell.
Well,
Oh,
a lot of things are happening right now while you're on camera here.
Boy, a piece. I hope that
What a
wasn't your
time.
karma catching up to you.
Yeah.
No,
You actually, believe it or not, I have a thing with trees falling. So, like,
Yeah.
my life, no joke. I went to a girlfriend's house down in Three Rivers, Southern California, right? And I'm hanging out down there. We all went to the river. We come back, we park, we go in the house. We're all hanging out in the back bedroom, just laying there because we were all like sun tired. And next thing you know, we hear this crack, 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 and this freaking oak tree just slams the house. And I'm talking massive, and wraps around my car and lands on my friend's car. So fast forward a few years later, I'm living up here in Holualoa on the other side of the island, and all of a sudden a tree snaps and comes down on the top of my car. Then we had those massive storms like a few months ago.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if all around my yard is massive trees that all lifted up and fell over, and none of them touched my place. And I'm talking, there's like massive trees out here. And then just now, another tree just snapped.
Wow.
Well, you know, I used to vacation up on Bois Blanc Island. It's an island in between the lower and upper peninsula of Michigan, and a lot of it's state forest. So you'd be out, exploring, taking paths or whatever, walking around, and it wasn't uncommon to hear trees. Just old trees that were ready to fall. You'd hear them off. You wouldn't see them. They'd be off in the forest somewhere. And I can't help but think if a Bigfooter was traveling through there, they'd be convinced that Bigfoots were pushing trees over when it was just an old growth forest.
Yeah. I mean, I'm used to them coming down. Well, it's not even windy. Like there's nothing going on out here. You would hear my wind chimes going off. So now it's windy. Now listen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I knew it means something. And they talk about how the spiritual symbolism of trees representing grounding, growth, ancestry, and stability between the earth and the sky, and having trees repeatedly fall or uprooted throughout your life often carries deep metaphorical meaning rather than just coincidence. So they talk about major life transitions and shifts. They also talk about how shedding generational karma or pattern, which we were just talking about. And then it also talks about forced surrender to change. So I just thought I'd, pull that out.
Yes.
It could also be the tree's
Conversations I was having.
soul. The tree's soul might have had that time where it was time for that tree's soul to transform into its next life.
Yeah, like the, clearing, like of the canopy and stuff. I mean, So, yes, definitely. Something's
for that,
definitely
Sue.
going on.
And Grandizer 12, he made some more comments. He says, Charlie Kirk was horrible. I guess we have not seen the same debates. His debates
Just completely
Because-
disagree.
Completely disagree.
Okay. His debates with Hassan are good reference. We really got to stop hyping up Charlie Kirk.
It's not a hype on Charlie Kirk. Number
you're right.
one, he is a passed over man who was killed very brutally. And it made a lot of us critical thinkers who were not Charlie Kirk fans. I was never a Charlie Kirk fan. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I know how to think for myself. But when it comes right down to it, he had a lot of valid points. And at the end of the day, he was a very kind man. He wasn't out there. People were calling him names, and he was out there having a normal human adult conversation, which nowadays people love putting other people down. And if you don't agree with one thing, or somebody else or another influencer or your president tells you not to like someone, you can't think for yourself. Let me ask you a question. How many thoughts actually belong to you? How many of those thoughts are actually programmed into you? And let me tell you, if you're still watching the news and you absolutely hate a dead man who was killed by Israel, because we all know what it really was. And it wasn't some little kid with a fucking gun out there on a roof shooting him. You need to use your critical thinking and ask yourself, because it goes much deeper than your hatred towards Charlie Kirk. It has a lot to do with them wanting us to all think a certain way, and anyone who doesn't play the game gets offed, even if that means on national television for the whole world to watch. So talking dead about a bad man, you might want to go back and actually listen to what the guy actually said before you make a ruling on someone that you know nothing about.
Right.
That's my take on that. Sorry,
I second
Yeah.
what he says.
Grandizer 12, if you're listening, you can go ahead and respond. So,
Yeah, like, Charlie Kirk was a family man. That's what he talked about. His wife, she sold out. That's why they've been
Yeah.
cramming her down our throats. That Turning Point USA is all to get all these younger kids into their hands, and so that they can mold them a certain way to believe a certain thing.
I think Turning Point got ruined.
Turning
and just-
Point absolutely got ruined. And even Charlie said it himself. He was like,
Yeah.
I don't even feel like I'm running my own life anymore, let alone my own show. I'm being
Yeah.
told what I'm supposed to talk about and what I'm supposed to believe. And it was all for Israel. And all the people out there, oh, Israel, bullshit. Israel's been ruling the freaking world for a very long time.
If you
They're-
want to
they're the
proof
war
on that,
mongers.
Okay.
we can go back on the whole thing about the Saturn. You remember how you and I, Peace, I believe you understand the negative polarity and the positive polarity when you spin the clockwise, positive polarity, negative polarity, counterclockwise. And so if you watch, what's that ritual called where they walk around the cube in the Middle East area? That's
A Mandela.
yeah, that's the counterclockwise. And if you want to know how much control these negative polarities have, look at all your sports. When you run the bases in baseball, which way are you going? Counterclockwise. NASCAR, counterclockwise. Horse racing, counterclockwise. Anything that you're going in circles in a sport, counterclockwise. Why? You could go the other way. It's not going to, turn the universe inside out if you decide to change baseball and go clockwise. Why
In my
not?
traditions, we go both ways.
okay, Grandizer 12 responded. He goes, see, I disagree. Follow his money trail, and it's easy to come up with what killed him. He brought up talking point that appealed to some, but not the masses. And then World Bigfoot Central, he says, howdy, Grandizer. I tend to agree with you.
Here's the
Okay,
deal.
oh,
He
go for
his
it,
money,
please.
he actually turned down the money.
Yeah.
He turned down the money.
Yeah, he got offered and he turned it down. By the way, look at your source of where you're getting your information. You need to follow the money on where your
CNN.
sources are coming from. Follow the people on where your sources are coming from, where you're getting your news and your story. And I bet you they're connected to somewhere in the 13 bloodlines.
Yeah.
Or members of the Committee 300. Take your pick. They're all connected.
Well, it's like Dan Bongino
Wow.
sold out and Cash Patel. They all sold out. You can tell by looking at them. They're just like, they both look sickly and stunned since all of that happened. And why? Because now they are in so freaking deep that they can't even swim their ways out. So Phoenix, leave them alone. Bring me a mommy the ball. But yeah, I mean, I'm going to agree to disagree. I'm not going to argue with strangers on the internet. I have better things to do with my time,
Yeah.
but I do believe
You know,
that when you are
energy.
faced with information that might go against it, maybe you should go a little bit deeper when it comes to your investigations. Let's just put it that way. And at the end of the
Yeah.
day, this really has nothing to do with us. I'm going to keep speaking my truth regardless, just like Charlie Kirk did, which was what got him killed. And, it was just really at the end of the day, a sign to anybody who thinks differently and is willing to put themselves on a platform and speak what everyone else is thinking, bash them, try to discredit them, ruin their lives. And if that doesn't work, kill them. That's where we're at now. I mean, look around.
Done.
All your scientists. So, like I said, I'm not going to argue with strangers on the internet. I feel like do your own research. And
It's a total, it's just supporting Lutz.
yeah. Paul.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How have you been?
I've been fine. I've been fine.
When do we actually get to have the wife on the show?
She is busy with other stuff. She's she puts out a lot of books and everything else. She's very, very busy with her own
Because
thing.
I would love to hear her take on a lot of the things that are going on too.
I bet you the ratings would skyrocket if she would come on the show.
No, but anyway, everything, yeah, it's been absolutely cool. I've been working on my books. I write articles for various magazines. So, yeah, I stay busy, plus all the podcasting and everything else. And it's fun. And I learn a lot because everybody has an incredible amount of knowledge in their head. They throw it out on the podcast, and I'll pick it up and stuff like that. So, it's a is a big learning thing that I really enjoy.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I
That's
like the
awesome.
stuff that even Michael. He's got a big mind. He's got a lot of stuff on his mind.
On who's that? Who, Michael?
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, you're
I'm
talking about
just,
what? Michael Waterman.
I'm just listening.
Oh, I said you got a lot of stuff on your mind. He's always got a lot of good stuff going and floating
Well,
around in
I
his
mean, I've
head.
got my book coming out probably mid-fall.
Oh, nope,
He's,
nope, nope. Sorry, I got chickens.
oh dear.
Get down.
I love chickens.
Get down.
I think with the right sauce, they're wonderful.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Are
I'm
you
a
are,
honey
are you
person.
trying to say they're finger looking good, Michael?
No, I don't like that. But
Okay.
I'm not a vegetarian. I am omnivorous. I'll eat anything that I cook myself that I know what's in it.
Yeah. So
But
tell
I
us
have
about
my
your
book
book.
coming
And
out.
can I tell you? Okay, Sue, can I tell you something about Korea?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a bad thing. Okay, I was there in 1981, and I don't know if you're familiar with this, but anyway, they would take me when I first arrived in Korea as an initiation thing. They took me down to Itaewon, and they had a thing called chick on a stick, and they
Uh-oh.
wanted me to eat this chick. Okay, they impaled the chick, put it in hot oil,
Ah,
put salt and then ketchup on it and stuff like that, and it was called a chick on a stick. I didn't eat it. I was like,
a baby chick. That's
yeah,
really
yeah.
lovely.
I don't know. That's
No, thank you.
Did you know anything about that, Sue?
no. Unfortunately, I have left Korea when I was 2 years old. So my knowledge of Korea is whatever I read on the outside as when I got older. I have not heard of this chick on a stick. However,
I
I've
don't.
seen the markets in Korea through YouTube videos and things, and they will take all kinds of different parts of a chicken and put them on skewers and rake them over hot coals and whatnot. So
Well, I mean, there's a lot of cultures that do things like that.
yeah,
Oh
Lizards,
yeah, yeah.
snakes, frogs, cats, dogs,
Yeah.
all sorts of
yeah.
lovely,
Well,
lovely
yeah. There
things.
was like an investigation, and I did a paranormal investigation that involved UFOs being seen in the field, ghosts, and everything else. And the people who lived there, they brought a whole big bowl of frog legs, and the frogs were captured out in their field. And yeah, it was like people eat all kinds of weird stuff. I was like,
Oh,
wow.
there's parts of the world where people eat bugs.
I've been watching Shark Week where sharks eat people. So their circle gets the square.
Well, there's a bunch of bears now attacking people.
And buffalo,
And buffalo, that's right. That guy flew up in the air and stuff like
7 feet in
that.
the air, and he broke
Well,
his backbone and all kinds of other. I think he broke his wrist and his ankle, and the buffalo was like, "Don't take my picture." They didn't understand the animal's body language. I saw the pictures. The animal's body language was leave me alone. People don't listen to animals. And Peace would tell you that they have their own body language. Cats, for instance, My cat will let me know exactly what he wants without saying, without moving, just movements, eye movements, paw movements, his head movements. I know exactly what Oliver wants.
Well, that's
Yeah.
because Virgos are connected to small animals. Small
Oh, that's
animals
for
falls under
sure.
the guise of Virgo. So because we're of service, and so we're there, and so we have a psychic connection to animals.
Well,
The
that's
more
true.
Virgo,
I've always
yeah.
been, and I was born in the year of the dog, and dogs always know I love them. It could be the meanest animal, comes right up to me and, bumps into my leg like, oh, hi, guy. They know it's true. I've always had that connection, even with dangerous snakes, believe it or not. I've had rattlesnakes, copperheads near me, and they're calm because they know I relate to them. It's
Yeah.
a strange thing, but I know
I
I can
moved to
feel
Hawaii
their
to get away
energy.
from them.
Hey,
No, I'm
I'm
Michael.
not a big fan of those
no.
things. I did
Hey,
have a 13-foot python for a while. I only gave her to a snake expert because I
oh
had
my
to move. I'm scaring everybody, but I
Yeah,
had to move. But that snake in commercials with me. She was in the theater with me doing plays. I have pictures, and
Oh
she's
boy.
even in a video with Elvira, where Elvira has her between her breasts. It's called Fangs for the Mammaries, and my snake was beautiful. Her name was Pythos, which is the Greek, the python that supposedly is under Delphi, that Apollo killed, so the Delphic oracle could do
Now,
all her predictions and things.
I would have just had a photograph, an 8x10 glossy framed. Maybe that'd be as far as I'd go. And
oh,
also, I want to say some people eat White Castles.
Yeah, I've done that. I like them,
So do I.
Chewy.
I
Yeah.
love what
especially 4 o'clock in the morning if you're still up and you're working on a book, and there's nothing else around that's open. You know.
I've never had
Well,
it.
hey, Michael. So can we get to know about your book?
Well, it's called The Serpent Wore Two Crowns, actually, and it's a what if story, and it takes place in the first century BC. It's based on some research I did about Livia, the Empress of Rome, and Cleopatra the Seventh, our famous Cleopatra, and it's what if Livia and Cleopatra were the same person, and not that. And maybe when they open up the tomb, they're going to find a Roman woman, not an Egyptian or a Greek, I should say. It's all about what went through here. In the time that Caesar brought Cleopatra to Tuscany in Rome, she was up in a big old fancy villa. So was Augustus. They were friends. They didn't. So this whole thing about him warring with Mark Antony and she is a lot of baloney. Um, he called her in his notebooks. He called her auntie because she was, after all, married to Caesar, and she was his adopted stepmother in a certain way, not Calpurnia, his actual wife. So my thing is, when Caesar was murdered in my book, there he and Cleo got together um, at the temple of Isis, which is in Sicily, which is still there, and because her father had a villa there, and said, "Okay, I'll take care of Lepidus Claudius. You take care of Mark Antony." And the whole thing goes on. And then, if you've ever watched I Claudius, Robert Gray, or you've read the books, or the PBS special years ago, the series, you'll know that Livia was a monster. But Livia was an expert on poisons. Ancient Roman women couldn't read and write, and she didn't know anything about poisons, but Cleopatra is famous for them. So I said, well, that's kind of interesting. She left Rome for about 7 years, comes back, and she knows all about poisons, and she speaks all these languages. Cleopatra spoke 9 languages. She also was a ruler for 20 years by herself, and she had 3 children. Livia Drusilla Claudius had 3 children. In my book, Octavian says to Cleopatra, well, there's one thing that you're going to have to give up to become the Empress of Rome. And she says, what's that? And he says, your son, Caesarion. And being a Ptolemy, since she murdered her brothers and her sister, killing a son would be no big deal. And so there it goes from there. And I even have how she died. So you'll see a different take on that story. based on actually literature I've read and also books I was able to get hold of, and papyrus and journals that I've read, and also you're going to think I'm a little interesting. I would call it psychic impressions. When I was in Alexandria and in Rome, I felt certain things, and I felt as though voices were saying, "This story's got to be told this way." And so here it is.
Sweet.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
My publisher thinks it'll be quite a good seller because it shows an anti-hero woman, that she used her intellect and she used her wiles, but not her sexual wiles. Cleopatra was supposed to be an enchantress. Well, she was an expert on poisons. She spoke all these languages. She knew about science. She knew about government. She knew because she was a politician. And it makes no sense to me that he would kill her when she could be an asset to him. And that's why I wrote it the way I did.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I actually look forward to that. Can't wait for it to come out.
It's going to be a very interesting book. The cover is black. It's got spatters of blood and a cobra and a crown, an Egyptian crown on one top part. And then you've got the laurels of Julius Caesar on the bottom. So it says the serpent wore 2 crowns. She became the queen of Egypt and she became the empress of Rome.
Sue and Peace, you guys need to write a book.
Together.
Yeah, you guys some interesting stories.
I will definitely. I've been working on my memoirs.
Okay.
It's
You've
more
got a whole
than
bunch
one.
of life to live before you do that. You've got stories, past stories, but you know what? The future is going to be amazing for you. And I already see where it's coming.
Well, thank you, Michael. I
We'll
appreciate
talk
that.
more about that some other time. But I'm a
Steve,
visionary.
Steve,
Being
you
a
got
Virgo,
a
I
book,
can
don't
see.
you?
What's that?
Steve, you got a book, don't you? Out there?
Yes, he does.
Well, I've been writing one for 2 or 3 eons, and I just don't. I've got some of the chapters written. I just don't have the thing that sort of pulls it all together. It's basically
You are
about
what
patterns and parallels in the paranormal.
you are what puts it together. You should do it as a narrator. You're the voice. Make your these are your stories. Tell them in your words as Steve. You're a very interesting man. You've had very interesting. You're an incredible person that brings all these energies together, and you could give yourself a little credit. You're a very humble being, but you've got stories to tell, and you should come forward now. I think people should honor you.
Well, there was a
I
psychic
agree.
a while ago that said I should get off my tuchus and finish the book. So she did
Hey,
not
I
actually
know.
use the word tuchus.
Finish
But,
the book. Finish the book.
Yes.
Other people have been given. Other people have written the Mothman prophecy, and that other guy, who was his name, the one that was on the show a couple of weeks ago, was talking about. He did things with the Mothman. He wasn't even there, and you are. It's time for you to rise above.
well,
I'm a Virgo, but I'm a catalyst. I'm
What's-
like fire because
what's-
my midheaven is my midheaven is Leo, and my rising sign is Scorpio.
once I get my basement clean, I'll have the world by the fill in your own blank there.
Cojones.
False.
Hey, you
Yeah,
guys,
but-
it's almost 6:00 Pacific time. So Donnie Cho, if you're listening to me, we're about ready to wrap it up. But also too, I want to go through the whole panel. How can people contact Steve, Sue, Peace, and Michael? So Steve first, how can people contact you?
Just type in Steve Ward on Facebook. Type in Point Pleasant, West Virginia as well. You'll probably find me. And if you're in the Point Pleasant area, stop by and see me on Saturday afternoons. I'm at the Mothman Museum answering questions, taking people's photographs by the Mothman statue. I live close by, so if you're in the area and want to talk to me, I can be down there in a few minutes. Just contact me on Facebook Messenger.
Sounds good. Thank you, Steve. Sue, how can people reach you?
Oh, people can contact me on Facebook, and they can message me on Messenger. I'm also on Twitter, now known as X, and you can contact me in their Messenger area there, as well as on Instagram. I'm under all the same name, Sue McClure. If you want to make an appointment, you can make an appointment through Messenger, and you can also email me. It's Sue Lightworker, SOOLIGHTWORKER@gmail.com. If you want to email me any questions, dilemmas, or make an appointment.
Sounds good. Thank you, Sue. Michael, how can people reach you?
Very simple. You can get me at Michael K at todayswitch.net. You can read my articles on Today's Witch magazine. You can get me at Michael K Waterman on Facebook, or Phone a Wizard, since I'm the wizard of Phone a Wizard, on Facebook, or on TikTok. TikTok. I am Setna underscore come west, which is Michael K Waterman also. Or you can email me mkwaterman@icloud.com. I'm open, and if you need me, I'm right there. And please, everybody, friend me on Facebook.
Fantastic. Thank you, Michael. Peace. How can people reach you?
The Footsteps to Peace. You can just Google it and it'll take you to my Facebook page. It'll take you to my Instagram, my YouTube, and my business platform, thefootstepstopeace.com.
And just watch out for falling trees.
Yes, so ouch. Hey, Paul, how do we get
I have that
find
power.
you?
I don't want anybody getting to me. I don't just stay away. Stay the hell away from my goddamn website. Just keep away. But anyway, no, you can go ahead and contact me. You can Google or Bing me, Paul Dale Roberts. You'll see some of my articles. If you want to see some of my books, Paul Dale Roberts book. Simple as that. Hey, thank you, everybody. It was a great show.
Just don't get under his skin, whatever you do.
Yeah. There was a lot of drama and a lot of excitement and an adventure in here, so it was great.
And chickens. We got chickens.
Yeah, we got
Chickens and falling trees.
And falling trees. So anyway,
Yeah.
Connie Cho, if you're listening to me, go ahead and shut us down.
Bye, everyone.
Born from shadow, sealed in truth, ancient blood, but faith rooted proof. History whispers, legends pretend.